Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Welcome into another edition of College Football Now, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us. On today's show, we're going to break down the team rankings in the transfer portal. How did the top teams fare according to On3 and 24/7 Sports? They have two different metrics. We'll break those down and show you what those are and who the top 10 teams are in each of those metrics in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, folks, this is the place to be here in college football now. If you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? We have the latest college football news, rumors, also what's going on the recruiting trail, the transfer portal. It's all in one place. Subscribe now here at Chat Sports. If you want more college football coverage, subscribe now and you'll be glad you did. YouTube.com/@ChatSports. The On3 portal rankings. Now, through On3, what they do is they combine what you've gained and what you've lost. So something to keep in mind here as we go through On3's rankings. Number 10 is USC on their list. Second year for Lincoln Riley with the Trojans. Brings in an impressive class, including Mason Cobb, a second-team All-Big 12 linebacker out of Oklahoma State. 6 players so far from the Trojans making their way to Southern California. Number 9 on the list is the TCU Horned Frogs. Sonny Dykes did a really good job last year of building up that roster to be able to contend in the college football playoff in year one of the Dykes era. Now he's done it again with another really good class coming in for the Horned Frogs here. And then at number 8 is a new Big 12 foe for TCU, UCF. And what an exciting time for UCF as they enter the Big 12 Conference and already making their name known. Significant gains on the recruiting trail, both at the high school ranks and in the transfer portal. And they were able to pick up 8 players in the portal so far, including former 4-star player Fred Davis II, a cornerback out of Clemson. Have to think that he'll get playing time right away for the Golden Knights as well. Staying in the state of Florida is Florida State. Mike Norvell coming off a season where the Seminoles had a breakthrough year in the top 25, including a win week 1 against LSU, and now trying to build some momentum towards next year. Looks like things are heading the right direction there. And then number 6 is UCLA. And UCLA, Chip Kelly and company, had a solid year this year. They're looking to improve upon that for next year as well with what they bring to the table. Let's go to the top 5 now for On3's rankings. Number 5 is Colorado. A lot to talk about when you mention the Colorado Buffaloes. What primetime Deion Sanders is doing there in Boulder. 11 transfers so far, including Travis Hunter, as well as Deion's son, who's expected to be the starting quarterback for Colorado as well, coming over from Jackson State. Those star 2 players. Travis Hunter, when he was at Jackson State, played corner and wide receiver. It's expected that he'll probably continue to play both positions and go both ways. Remember, Deion was a guy that went both ways as well, so kind of following in the footsteps of Deion Sanders. And what's also worth noting, too, we told you a little while ago that it wasn't necessarily a foregone conclusion that Travis Hunter was going to follow Deion Sanders to Colorado. On3 in their crystal ball predictions just a few days ago had Georgia and Miami as the favorites to land Travis Hunter. So a big win for Deion Sanders to bring in Travis Hunter and to get some of these guys from Jackson State. 11 so far. Have to think there'll be plenty more. And maybe when this is all said and done, when we look back at the transfer portal, Colorado might be the number 1 team when it comes to who they bring in from the transfer portal at that point. So, prediction time. With all these changes, with all these players coming in to Colorado, is that going to be enough for the Buffaloes to make a bowl game next year? If you think so, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Let me know in the comments section below. Continuing with On3's portal rankings, the Washington Huskies roll in at number 4 on this list, but they are not the highest-ranked Pac-12 team. That honor belongs to the Arizona State Sun Devils, and Arizona State looking to rebuild things after the tenure of Herm Edwards, looked to be on track at that point. Michigan's number 2 on this list, and we'll talk more about Michigan coming up later. But Michigan, we already know they're in the college football playoff, an undefeated season. But Jim Harbaugh and company, they are winning not just on the recruiting trail, but in the portal as well. And what they're doing a really good job of is scouting within their own conference. They've been able to find some of the best of the best at other Big Ten schools that are coming their way. More on Michigan coming up later. And then number 1 on the On3 portal team rankings is the Michigan State Spartans. And Sparty so far, Mel Tucker, remember, he built this thing up a couple years ago when he took that job. They got good very quickly because of the transfer portal. Mel Tucker's gone back to that again with 13 players joining Michigan State, making East Lansing their home, including Ken Talley, an edge rusher out of Penn State. He'll be joining Michigan State as well. So something to keep in mind there. A good run for Mel Tucker there on that front. So we'll get to 24/7's list in just a moment. But first, who is the biggest winner of the transfer portal so far? Who comes to mind that stood out to you that's done a really good job through this transfer portal season? Let me know in the comments section below, whether it's an individual player, a coach, a team, whoever it may be. Who's the biggest winner in the transfer portal so far? Let me know in the comments section below. Today's show is brought to you by Fetch. Let me tell you about them. If you use the Fetch app for iPhone or Android to scan your receipts to earn points and turn those points into gift cards, whether you're shopping at Target, Walmart, grocery shopping, or even your local mom and pop store, you can earn reward points by scanning your receipts with Fetch. You can also connect your Amazon account and your email to earn points and all your e-receipts. Use my link to download. That's chatsports.com/fetch. Enter the promo code CHAT and sign up for 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt. That's the equivalent of a free $5 gift card to get started. As you accumulate points, you can click on Redeem in the Fetch app and choose from hundreds of stores and restaurants like Amazon, CVS, or Starbucks to turn those points into gift cards. And you can see how easy it is to use. The 5,000 points offer is only for a limited time. So get started now, chatsports.com/fetch, and enter the promo code CHAT. The link is also in the comments and the description of today's video. So let's look at the numbers now from 24/7 Sports. And 24/7 does not factor in who you've lost. It's all about the gains that you've made. And that's where we find the Kentucky Wildcats at the number 10 spot. And they picked up arguably the best quarterback in the transfer portal, that being Devin Leary, who was formerly at NC State. And this was a guy that at this time last year, there was discussions about his NFL future potentially, of what he would bring to the table. Was expected to have a monster season last year, but ultimately suffered an injury and only ended up starting 6 games. Did go 5-1 in those starts and did make the most of those 6 starts with 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and over 1,200 yards passing. He's followed in the footsteps of Will Levis, who's expected to be a first-round pick in his own right. Watch out for Devin Leary, pairing up with Mark Stoops, to have a big year for that Kentucky team this upcoming season. Number 9 on our list is Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers. We talked about them earlier. A lot of excitement about what Brian Kelly and company's bringing to the table. They went to the SEC championship game this past season. Now can they take that next step forward? We already know they've done a good job when it comes to the high school talent. Watch out for LSU. Meanwhile, the U, Miami, is Miami back into the fold. Mario Cristobal's done a really good job with that Miami program of winning at the recruiting trail and in the portal, no question about it. But the next thing we want to know, we've always looked at Mario Cristobal, dating back to his time at Oregon, that he is a heck of a recruiter. But can Mario Cristobal develop these guys and be more than just a recruiter? That remains to be seen. Colorado, who we talked about earlier, falls in at number 7 on this list, but I would expect them to continue to rise because more are on the way for Dion and that Buffalo's program. And then number 6 is Oklahoma State. Now, here's what's interesting with Oklahoma State lining up here at number 6. This is where we see the big difference between the 24/7 system and the On3 system, because Oklahoma State was nowhere to be found on the On3 ranking because of how much the Cowboys lost. Spencer Sanders, their quarterback, he's gone. Braylon Presley's gone. We mentioned Mason Cobb is gone. Mike Gundy lost a lot of players. But credit to Mike Gundy for what he's been able to do to kind of salvage this as much as they have so far at this point. 7 players so far have been added to the Oklahoma State Cowboys roster, including Anthony Goodlow, a linebacker from the University of Tulsa. Goodlow's also going to be joined by his teammate there at TU, Justin Wright. So bringing up some players from the University of Tulsa across the turnpike over to Stillwater to make their names known there and play in the Power 5 level at Oklahoma State. Let's see what Oklahoma State can continue to do to try to salvage this for the Cowboys. Number 5 is Oregon on this list, and Dan Lanning's done a really good job with this Oregon program in his first year. And now in year 2, the transfer portal has been their friend. 5 players so far in the transfer portal, and they've been able to pick up some guys from Alabama, some very quality players, including Khyree Jackson at cornerback, Traeshon Holden at wide receiver, and Holden's got experience too. This wasn't a guy that was riding the bench. So quality talent from a major program like Alabama. Watch out. And if you look a little further in what they're doing on the high school level as well, Dan Lanning is finding some good defensive talent. They look like they're positioning Oregon to be an SEC-like team in the Pac-12 conference. Watch out for the Ducks of what they have in their future. A few more teams to get to here in just a second, but who is the biggest loser of the transfer portal so far? Let us know in the comments section below. Number 4 on the list, we talked about them earlier, the USC Trojans fall in line at this point, and Lincoln Riley and company still finding more guys. Watch out for the Trojans to continue to make their presence known throughout the rest of this offseason. 3 is their crosstown rivals, UCLA. Both these teams headed to the Big Ten Conference here in 2024. And from what we've seen, that's only helped them in recruiting to this point for both schools to be joining the Big Ten of what they've been able to do on the trail. Number 2 is Florida State. Talked about them earlier as well. Florida State, watch out for what Mike Norvell can do in this upcoming season. Let's see if they can take that next step up and compete at a high level in college football beyond just being a top 25 team. If they can go out and win the ACC next year, we'll see. And then number 1 is the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan, 8 transfers in, including Myles Hinton, the offensive tackle from Stanford, Jack Tuttle, a quarterback from Indiana. Tuttle's teammate, A.J. Barner, is also headed to Michigan as well. And wow, what a group that Jim Harbaugh has in place that's coming together, these 8 transfers coming in. Sure, they've lost a couple guys like Cade McNamara and company, but it's been addition by subtraction of some sorts. This Michigan team, with the guys they've lost and with who they've added in, they have gotten a lot better than what they were earlier, and they were already pretty good as is. So, who's the best player left in the transfer portal? Still plenty of names out there and others that will join, I'm sure, here in the next couple of weeks. We still have more time with the transfer portal before this session ends. Let me know in the comments section who you think the best player is. And as always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Tyler Jones Live, and I'll see you next time right here on College Football Now.